Hello, welcome to the Kate and Kay show. Today I'm here on my own. Kate is at work and it is miserable outside. I don't know if you can hear the rain, but it's absolutely throwing it down. Anyway, I thought I'd make Kate a cake to cheer her up for when she comes back from work. And I thought I'd invite you along to join me. So, let's go. I should say at this point that I've decided I'm not going to use a recipe. I think I know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to do what I think is best. There's the cake. I'm going to put it in the oven and we'll catch up later and see how it's going on. Bye! Hello again. So I think the cake's ready, so I'm going to get it out of the oven. Oh, perfect timing. Hello.
Smells amazing. What are you doing?
I made you a cake to say welcome home from work. Come on in.
You made me a cake to say welcome home from work.
I thought, you know, the weather was miserable. I thought I'd make you a cake. So here it is. Oh, it's kind of falling apart a bit.
It looks a bit... It smells really good, Kate. It does look a bit flat though.
I don't really know what happened. Do you want a spoon? A cake fork. Got a cake fork. Have a cake fork. We've got them and we don't use them very often.
To deserve being made cake.
Let me know how it tastes.
I mean, where's the chow?
They're not very good.
No. I mean, did you follow a recipe?
Well, no, I just thought I'd like do it my own way. It did not really work.
I mean, it tastes. All I can taste is sugar.
Well, everyone likes sugar. I thought I'd put lots of sugar in it.
It's a bit.
No.
It's a bit wet.
Okay.
It's not the best cake I've ever had.
Well, that's a shame. I won't make
I
you another one.
appreciate the thought, but maybe next time follow
Okay.
the instructions or the recipe.
Okay, maybe you're right. I thought I knew best, but actually following the recipe would have made a much nicer cake. Why don't you have a go this week at doing some baking and send me your pictures of your results. Don't forget to follow the recipe. In 1 Samuel we see that God knows best, but the people still wanted to go their own way. Here's a bit more about 1 Samuel.
3 phrases to explain the book of 1 Samuel are the people's king, a promised king, and a proud king.
The book of 1 Samuel starts with hope. A lady called Hannah, who really wants a baby, asks God for a child and God gives her one. A boy called Samuel is born. And this boy is going to be used by God for the good of his people, the Israelites. But it doesn't take us very long in reading the book before we realise that Samuel, like all the rest of the leaders that God has ever given his people, Samuel won't be able to change the hearts of the people. And so in 1 Samuel chapter 8, the people, the Israelites, God's chosen people, they go to Samuel and they say something really sad to him. They say, give us a king to rule us just like all the other people around us have. They've all got their kings. We want a king as well. Now this is really sad because the people have a king already. God is their king. And he is the best king to have. And so by asking for a different king, the people are rejecting God. They are saying, we don't want God as our king anymore. We want a king who's more like us. And so we get to this key verse in 1 Samuel chapter 8, verse 7.
And the Lord told Samuel, listen to all that the people are saying to you. It is not you they have rejected, but they have rejected me as their king.
What's happening is a little bit like wishing your mum and dad would let you do whatever it is you wanted to do, rather than wanting you to do what is good for you. God tells Samuel to let the people have what they're asking for. And so an impressive looking man called Saul becomes Israel's king. And as usual, things seem quite hopeful for a while. Saul starts off as a good king. He goes God's way and he leads the people that way as well. But soon Saul's heart becomes proud. And being proud is one of the worst things that you can be, because it makes you think that you don't need God. It makes you think that you can do everything yourself. Being proud stops many people today from coming to Jesus and accepting him as their saviour and their rescuer, asking for forgiveness and new life with him as their king. And what is really sad is that even though many people don't want God to be their king, he is the king. He is the real king. He is the king forever, and every person has to decide whether they want to be on God's side or whether they want to be God's enemy. Being proud meant that Saul turned away from God and became his enemy. And so God said to Samuel, we need a new king. We need a king with a different heart. We need a king who knows that God is the real king. Well, this time the person who was picked didn't look very impressive. His name was David, and he was the youngest of 8 brothers. But God doesn't look on the outside of a person. God looks at the person's heart. And David didn't have a proud heart that would say no to God, but instead David had a heart that knew God was the king. And so in the rest of 1 Samuel, we see Saul, King Saul, getting worse and worse. But we see more and more glimpses of the special heart in David that would make him the best leader that the people have had so far. Now, David wasn't perfect, and his heart wasn't perfect, but he was going to be a leader who would help God's people to look forward to the promised king who would come one day and who would be the answer to all of the people's problems.
What's the 9th book of the Bible?
Genesis,
Exodus,
Leviticus,
Numbers,
Deuteronomy,
Joshua,
Judges,
Ruth, 1 Samuel.